Hello guys, today I'll be showing you my favourite and what I've seen so far most successful teamfight tactics composition. I hope you enjoy the video, and if you do, be sure to like and subscribe to see more content. Okay, the first thing you want to do is keep these 7 champions in mind, because you're going to be wanting to get as many of these and level these up as much as you can throughout the game. Okay, so off the first carousel, you're going to aim to want to get one of the 7 champs I named, or primarily a recursive bow, a needlessly large rod, or a BF sword. I just went for the first thing I seen, which was the Fiora, but really I should have took that Z with the recurve bow, but never mind. It doesn't really matter too much at this stage. Okay, so during the minion stages at the start of the game, before you face other players, you want to be aiming to get either one of the 7 champs, and you want to be aiming to level them up as much as you can without using your rerolls or your buying XP. It's inefficient to buy XP this early, one, because you're facing minions, and two, because everybody else is going to have pretty bad team comps. So I wouldn't worry if after the minions you lose the first few games, but as long as you're leveling up your Vaynes, your Fioras, your Garens, Mordekaisers, you should be okay. Okay, for the mid to early and mid game, you're going to be wanting to look to build certain items on certain champs. So for the Vayne, you're going to be wanting to get a Rage Blade, a IE or Infinity Edge, or a rapid fire cannon, or as much as the above as you can. Then for the Varus, you want a Spear of Sojourn and maybe a an ability power item such as Luden's Echo or Rabadon's Death Cap. And then for one of your tanks, either maybe a Mordekaiser or the Garen, you're going to want a Dragon's Claw. That's going to shield 83% of magic resistance for the champion, so he can just sit at the front taking as much damage as he needs, and then it allows your backline to do as much damage as they need while he's still alive. Just quickly, guys, as well, there is a cheat sheet I use from Skara. Shout out to Skara, which tells you what all the different items build into. So I'll leave a link to that down in the comments for you to see as well. Okay, so just to quickly point out, guys, on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll be able to see the different buffs that are currently in use for our team comp. So there's the Phantom buff that removes a random enemy's HP down to 100 at the start of the fight. There's the Noble buff that gives 100 armor and heals 35 on hit to a random ally in your team, and that goes on for the whole fight. There's the Ranger buff that every 3 seconds the Ranger has 25% chance to double their attack speed for 3 seconds. And the Knight buff that gives a Knight the 20 damage block from basic attacks. So by this stage of the game, you should have near enough the full build. So you've got the 6 champs on the screen. I've positioned it like this because in case they position at the top left, you're not going to want the Varus being exposed, and obviously you're going to want the Vayne at the back to deal as much damage as you can. Then you've obviously got the Kindred centralized, so it will impact as many people as it possibly can. But remember as well, positioning is very important, because especially for the buffs, because you're not going to want the Vayne being next to all the tanks when they're dealing splash damage and things like that. But just as important in the actual fights as well, because you're not going to want one of your carries being exposed or something like that. But you do need to keep in mind for the assassins and stuff like that, they're going to jump into the back. So it's equally important that you've got some sort of defense to protect them. That's why I keep the tanks relatively close and the Kindred central. So when she gets her mana, she does steal the ult for the surrounding units, which should impact about 2/3, if not half of the team. So that's why I've positioned it like I have. But by this stage, obviously, there's only 3 people left, me being the top, with the other 2 being relatively low. But by this stage you should be in a pretty comfortable position to be able to win the game. Obviously, off the following carousel, if you do manage to get there, you're going to want to take tank items for obviously your tanks, and you're going to want to be leveling up the Kindred so it's not already level 2 or 3, and trying to get your Mordekaisers and your Aatroxes to level 3 as well. But you might not be able to, obviously, because the game's near enough at its end, and because by this point it's not going to give you many of them. It's going to give you sort of Darius's and your Rengars and stuff like that. So I wouldn't worry too much if you can't get them all to level 3. But like I say, try and get as many as you can to level 3, obviously, because they get more health and stuff like that. But yeah, I would make sure you could try and get at least 3 to level 3, if not 4. Like I say, it's all based on RNG really, but I wouldn't worry about either taking off the carousels for, especially this late in the game, for champs unless you only one off. I'd more worry about items because they can literally win you the game. Okay guys, as you can see, I did win the game with relatively good HP, only lost 19 in the end. But if there's any changes or tweaks you think I could make to the comp, it'd be great if you could leave them down in the comments for me to read. Thanks again guys for watching the video, really appreciate it.
Let you get a taste. Do you love the taste? Yeah, that's cool, but he ain't like me. LA, you can get a taste. Miami, you can get a taste. Oakland, you